the Pittsburgh Steelers trying to win right now. Why not? Aaron Rodgers is not getting any younger. And the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Miami Dolphins back in the day in 2019 shocked the world with a very un-Steelers-like move for them to trade a first-round draft choice right in the early parts of the season, way in advance of the trade deadline. If you all remember, back in 2019, the Steelers plucked Minkah Fitzpatrick in just his second season. The former 11th overall pick of the Miami Dolphins played 18 games there, and all of a sudden, see you later, you're a Pittsburgh Steeler. Now Minkah Fitzpatrick is a Miami Dolphin again. And the Steelers, in return, get Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, two guys who are looking for new deals, or at least in the case of Minkah Fitzpatrick, in the case of Jalen Ramsey, a spot willing to pick up the rest of his contract, which maybe the Steelers are willing to do or not. We'll keep an eye on all of that. But Jalen Ramsey, who's under contract through the 2028 season, thanks to a 3-year, $72 million contract extension he signed just last September. Jalen Ramsey is now going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, along with Jonnu Smith, the tight end, who apparently wanted a new deal. And he's got a 1-year, $12 million deal from the Steelers on the spot, according to Drew Rosenhaus's agent. And Jalen Ramsey gets $1.5 million more on top of his salary. He's going to make $26.6 million this year to go to Pittsburgh and lock down that
unbelievable
part of the Steelers' defense. There's a pick swap in the 2027 draft, so put a pin in that for Washington, D.C. while we're on the mall on that third day of that draft. Pittsburgh has next year's draft, the 2027 draft. Now, the Steelers send their 5th in that draft and get a 7th back. Put a pin in that. But for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it is clear what they're up to right now.
All in.
What they're up to right now is getting at least a playoff win under their belt. It's been 8 years. And what they're trying to do right now is put their eggs in the 2025 basket. Because Aaron Rodgers, as I said, isn't getting any younger. He tells Pat McAfee, this sure feels like it's it. And they now have Jalen Ramsey on the back end of a defense that they, by the way, got Darius Slay as well this offseason. They've still they got Joey Porter Jr. These are their cornerbacks right now. Obviously, Minkah being gone leaves a hole. It's so rare to have this conversation for a trade that involves a 5-time Pro Bowler and 3-time first-team All-Pro and Minkah Fitzpatrick, and a 7-time Pro Bowler and a 3-time first-team All-Pro in Jalen Ramsey. Stars on the back end of defenses being swapped for one another, and then Jonnu Smith on top of it, coming off of a very nice season in Miami. And just when you're sitting there thinking, okay, DK Metcalf is there in Pittsburgh, but Calvin Austin the third and Bobby Trees, Robert Woods being the third wide receiver in that 3-wide receiver set, unless my guy from Team 144 national champion in 2024 rookie season wiped out by injury, Roman Wilson, can step forward. You're sitting there, well, who's going to catch the ball from Aaron Rodgers? How about 2 tight ends? Who's going to run the football for Aaron Rodgers? We will see. The Pittsburgh Steelers, as we all know, watched Najee Harris walk because I don't think they were crying a river on that for whatever reason. But Jalen Warren is now the guy, and they drafted Caleb Johnson and hope that he can provide some pop. And you look at the roster for the Pittsburgh Steelers on defense. As I mentioned, Jalen Ramsey, Joey Porter Jr., Darius Slay at the corners.
They're old
Alex
as can be,
Highsmith,
guys.
Patrick Queen highlighting the linebacker spot. TJ Watt, they're going to sign him. Cam Hayward, I'm sure he likes this.
He's 37.
Derek Harmon, who they drafted instead of Shador and anybody else like Jackson Dart to fill a spot on the defensive line. They just improved in their gotta-have-it season with Aaron Rodgers.
Well, it's definitely all in.
The flip
all
side.
in their old team. They've got no
We'll
future.
talk about the Dolphins later on. We're focused on the Steelers right now. With all due respect to Dolphins fans, this is Aaron Rodgers we're talking about, turning 41 here, right? Or 42, right? We got a guy in his early 40s here trying to win one last shot. For Mike Tomlin, who hasn't won a playoff game in forever and a day. The flip side. You know how you draft a team sometimes in fantasy, guys? You look at it and you go, this would have been a great team. Like, what am I thinking? This would have been a great team 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I'd let people know that every year.
Right?
If this had been 2019,
right? One year I drafted Antonio Gates and Chris Johnson and a whole bunch of guys like that. And I'm like, this would have been great 5 years ago, 4 years, 5 years ago. Put it up, Mr. Hoskins. In 2021.
Yeah, that would be 4 years ago.
And again, we're talking 4 years ago. Aaron Rodgers was the MVP of the league. Jalen Ramsey was a first-team All-Pro and a Super Bowl champ. And Darius Slay had 3 interceptions, was a Pro Bowler, and 3 defensive touchdowns. And the year before that, DK Metcalf and Jonnu Smith had monster seasons. DK had 10 touchdowns, made a Pro Bowl, and had 1,300 receiving yards. The next year, he had, in 2021, a career year to date, still 12 touchdowns. Jalen won a Super Bowl in 2021. Can these guys uncork those years all at once?
No.
For the Pittsburgh Steelers?
That was my first reaction, was the Vince Young quote.
Okay, well, hello, good people and Eagle and 49er fans. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. I got a little bit of a problem here. I went downstairs real quick to get my dancing Bucky. It's a dancing Bucky, okay? And I have a floor outlet that's real close to the railing over there, and I'm building a bed for upstairs that's got drawers in it to put more stuff, because the ladies always have tons of stuff and they collect more stuff. And so I have the bed standing up, the pieces over there, so it's narrow. And in my hurry to come upstairs, I stumped my pinky toe, and it's bleeding profusely at the moment. So I kind of looked at it, I said, Tracy, I need some help with my toe because it's bleeding like crazy. She's like, are you on live? I was like, yeah, I'm on live. The show got to go on. So I got a toe that's bleeding at the moment. Aisha, I'm sorry I missed your membership, Aisha. I'm sitting here looking at a bloody toe right now that's dripping on the floor. Sorry, I missed it, but thank you, Aisha Robinson, for that. So she wants me to go clean my toe so I can bandage it up, but I'm kind of like, I'm kind of bleeding here, and I'm on live. Mark is on IR. But before I get into that, let me say hello to Aisha Robinson. What's up, Aisha? Sorry I missed your chat there, okay? Miss Gibson, how are you doing tonight? Shout out to Lady Libra double dipping on both sides, on both channels. Holly Pierce, who does not sleep at night, who always sends me other stuff. Be careful, don't do like I did and stump your toe. Okay, I need to pause. Okay, I need to pause and take care of the toe. Okay, we'll go back to Rich Eisen here for a minute, talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Dream Team, 2011 Eagles. Remember all the talent they acquired? They started the year 1-4, were 4-8 at one point, and Andy Reid was fired 2 years later. That's how I feel right now thinking about the Steelers.
Well, you're definitely in a wait and see mode for the Steelers, as we all know. Yeah. When I was out of the chair a couple of weeks ago, you did a power less rankings.
Power less rankings,
and you put the Steelers in your bottom 5.
I had them in the bottom.
I still think that's quite low.
Jonnu Smith, by the way, is better this year or last year than he was.
I
he's
I
actually
know.
gotten
Yeah, but
better.
Jonnu Smith with Arthur Smith
That's
has
the
yet
win.
to go over 600 yards.
Well, this is the point here, okay? Arthur knows him.
but he doesn't use him.
Well, he had him at a different time of his career. How does that sound? Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith are two terrific tight ends together. And
They're not great run blockers. but
I
they're
understand
pretty
this.
Good pass blockers.
I understand. You want Aaron Rodgers to have options here.
He wants
Now,
to be
obviously,
able to
having
stay
a
up.
run game that keeps the pass rush off of him is the first order of business. But I'm just going to return to what I said last week when Rodgers said this is his last year and when Rodgers signed with the Steelers earlier this month. Last year and 2 years ago, he was brought to a Jets team to say, change the culture, help out the head coach who's on a slippery slope, and show everybody how to win. And you're a savior. This time around, you know, obviously they needed him. They put all their eggs in the basket after Stafford maybe said no, and Sam Darnold said, I'm going to Seattle. And, you know, Justin Fields wasn't an option, and clearly they were done with Russ. He's coming to Pittsburgh to fit into the system with Mike Tomlin.
Okay,
I'm now part of your world.
I'm back. Shout out to Miss Tracy, who bandaged up my toe. I basically, just below the toe, I just kind of gashed it. So it's just like a chunk of meat is just hanging. And she put a butterfly thing on it and bandaged it up. And she said, you're just abusing his body. And I was like, but I thought I was in the house safe and sound. She's like, you're never safe. You're beating that body to death. Well, got to do what I got to do. Okay, so we got Aaron Rodgers. And this doesn't make sense to me. You know, I know this is not the Cowboys. It's not my fight or anything like that. But they're getting rid of younger talent and getting rid of George Pickens, right, for DK Metcalf. Send Tracy to Pinks and bring you back. No, the hot dog is definitely not what I need right now. Appreciate it. Don't let Aaron Rodgers on my team because of lack of depth of the quarterback position. But you get rid of a guy, George Pickens, for DK Metcalf. Maybe DK's a little bit better, but I'm not sure that he's that much better. He's definitely a lot older. You get Jalen Ramsey, who's, 30. You got so many guys that are in the mid and late 30s and Aaron Rodgers in 40. I don't see how this is a team with a future. This is, we're gambling that big play Slay and crew, that they're all going to perform and get it together. This is the modern day Washington Redskins over the hill gang. I don't see a future for this team. Cowherd is clickbait. Vinny, you ain't lying about that one. Vinny, I believe your shirt is going out today. I have to send the address to Mike. Miss Tracy got yours made, and it's going to be coming to you soon. That one's just kind of crazy. I'm happy that my team has actually gotten to be younger. When you look at losing Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, D-Law, we've gotten actually a younger team. Dak Prescott is the oldest guy on our team. Hey, Vado, how are you doing? Dak Prescott's the oldest guy on our team at 31, 10 years younger than Aaron Rodgers. Restricted Airspace Podcast. Does it seem like Steelers are going through a midlife crisis? Yes, they definitely. I don't know what they're doing. But they are literally basically saying, this is a farewell trip for Mike Tomlin. We're going to go in a blaze of glory. Now, as a Cowboy fan, I wish that we would amass some extra experienced help from time to time, but not in the sense of getting rid of the young guys. But now this kind of, the rumors now are being started that TJ Watt, if you trade Mika Fitzpatrick, the Steelers may look and say, let's get what we can for TJ Watt. The draft is in Pittsburgh this year. If they trade him for a number one pick and they have a couple of number one picks, it makes for great optics for a draft in your house. So we'll have to watch that to say the least. So here's something that I saw that I'm wondering, did Tyler Guyton and Duke Merriweather kind of break, make it up, because we had heard. Remember, a couple months ago, Duke Merriweather, who was asked about Tyler Guyton, how Tyler Guyton was doing, and Duke Merriweather kind of said that's all on Tyler Guyton, and what he becomes and what he does and so on, kind of questioning what he's doing. And, we know that Tyler Guyton had been working out a lot with Tyron Smith, and in fact, going to Tyron Smith's camp. And lo and behold, 11 hours ago, an article came out by Garrett Padell, on CBS Sports, and it seems like everything has kind of been made up between Tyler Guyton and Duke Merriweather. Let's go into this for a little bit here. So, Frisco, Texas. Quarterbacks are taking their wide receivers, their running backs, and tight ends on bonding trips, to build on the field and off the field chemistry in one of the most common events in the NFL season calendars. These trips occur during lulls between minicamp and the mid-June training camps beginning in late July. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott has taken some of his offensive skill teammates to places like San Diego, Lake Ochi in Georgia, and Lake something or other in Oregon. However, an offensive line chemistry and camaraderie is just as important. Lucky for the Dallas offensive line, it can simply take a staycation in Frisco, because NFL's prominent offensive line training guru resides in their backyard, Duke Merriweather and his O-line Masterminds program. Now, this is Tyler Guyton quote. Now, remember, Tyler Guyton kind of was miffed at Duke Merriweather. He's all about the offensive line. Cowboys left tackle Tyler Guyton told CBS Sports about Mayweather. He's O-line specific, and he's created a foundation in the world where the offensive line is very relevant. We have specific training things that we can do that helps us become better players. Also, just the atmosphere, being around other guys that you're in a position to play in the same position for different teams. It's just a good place to be an offensive lineman because of the camaraderie, the technique, the special devices that he uses to make his players better and things like that. So I'm like, wait a minute. This sounds like a sales job for Duke Merriweather's workouts. Is this the same guy that Duke Merriweather kind of threw under the bus? Does this make any sense? Stephen R. Hater in the house. What's going on? Chris May. What's up, Chris May? Metal up your ass. You're a Metallica fan. No life till leather. Jeff Lee. What's up, Jeff? Jeff, we're trying to regain that spot. You're number 2 space right now. Holly Pearson, number 1. Vado. I'm doing good. How are you doing? Aisha Robinson. Hi, Thomas. I really hope Dallas flies under the radar this season. Lady Libra. How you doing, Thomas Garrett? Big Ben Rusi said he would rather go with a young quarterback, Will Howard over Rodgers, saying build a new culture in Pittsburgh football. Yeah, you mean, Metal, I can agree with you on that, because Aaron Rodgers is a team killer, and he ain't going to be around for long, and you're going to have to start over again soon. And his track record the last 10 years or so has not been getting deep in the playoffs any longer. But what do I know? But Tyler Guyton, so is he working with Duke Merriweather and Tyron Smith? Is he double dipping? I hope so. I hope he's like a sponge, sucking it all in and getting to be the best player he can be. How was the food? Jimbo, how was the food at Buc-ee's? Okay, let's see. So, I got to be careful. Because when I have said things about Whataburger and In-N-Out Burger and things like that, that I have offended others, okay? And I don't want to offend anybody, especially not Buc-ee's. I went to Buc-ee's and it was crazy the amount of pumps that are out there. It must be like a whole oil field out there that they have feeding these things. It took about 20 minutes to finally find a place to park, which was great. I got a parking spot. I went in there. It's like a carnival atmosphere. They got all kinds of stuff from, like if you need a double burner, propane burner or charcoal grill, or you want some clothes, Bucky's gear and shirts and everything else. I met people from New York and New Jersey and South Carolina. It's literally almost like a cult following. Guys said they drove down from New York just to be here for the grand opening, and they're going back today. And I was just like, wow, okay. I was just on my way, at least. It was, I literally only went a mile out of my route to get there. Just got off the exit. So that was as far as it went. The jerky was great. Loved the jerky. They got all kinds of jerky, and it's not cheap. They got a guy who's a jerky connoisseur. He ends up, what kind? And I said, what's the best one? And it's a garlic something or other thing. It's good. It's good jerky. It's really good jerky. My takeaway so I got a couple of different sandwiches. Thank you, Reuben Walls. I'm okay. My wife bandaged my toe, and the Band-Aid's full of blood, but we're okay. We'll live. I've had worse. Oh, that was Aisha. The first thing I did was I used the bathroom. Listen, I was on the road for 2 hours, and I'm old, so that was the first thing. The bathroom's incredible, artwork and stuff in the hallways. It was a beautiful thing. I got the smoked turkey sandwich. I got the pulled pork sandwich. I got the 3-meat sandwich, and I got the sliced brisket sandwich. And when I do pulled pork, I'm a sweet pulled pork. I mean, mine is sweet, and I like having coleslaw, and I like having hot sauce on it. So you get sweet and heat. So that's what I'm used to. They don't have coleslaw for theirs. So I was talking to the guy. I was like, "Hey, where's the condiments and stuff for the stuff?" He's like, "I said, do you have coleslaw?" He's like, "We don't do coleslaw." I was like, "What do you mean? I'd like coleslaw." We don't do coleslaw, but I like coleslaw on my barbecue. We don't do coleslaw. I said, "Well, okay. Where's the hot sauce?" He said, "You want hot sauce? You want hot sauce?" I said, "Yeah. I said I put hot sauce in everything, including my wife. I put hot sauce on her." He said, I'll get you some hot sauce. And he comes back with like 3 packets of hot sauce. I'm like, are you kidding me? Where's the hot sauce? I mean, I like hot sauce to the point where I could dip the whole sandwich in hot sauce because I like lots of hot sauce. I got 4 sandwiches and you came back with 3 packets of hot sauce? So, truth in advertisement, I brought those back and I said, well, I want to do a taste test with Tracy and things. And so I forgot about them. So they actually sat around, in the fridge for a few hours. So that probably took it away from it. But the seasoning on them, if I were to close my eyes, I don't know that I know the difference between the pulled pork, the brisket, and the 3-meat flavor-wise. It was good. It was good. The place was fun. I mean, I've got... Jobu had fun. It was good. I don't know that I'll drive to New York for Bucky's opening. So it was good. I enjoyed myself. I'm sure I'll stop there again. Alan Williams. So, and I know what's going to happen because, when I talk about Whataburger and In-N-Out Burger and get cussed out. And my daughter, at the In-N-Out Burger, because we went to Oxnard. She's like, she want to go to In-N-Out Burger every day. I'm like, I can't eat this shit. I can't eat this shit. So what do you, what, shit. What is wrong with you, Dad? Shit. It is not shit. This is good burgers here. Are you crazy? I lived on these when I lived out here. I was like, damn, I'm glad you're still alive, baby, because, sorry, wasn't that good. And when I go to Whataburger in Texas, I get cussed out because I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm just a snob. Michael Fife, Whataburger 100%. How are you doing, man? Mark's talking food. I just had Indian food just for the first time in a while. I'm a hard server, okay? Food wise, sorry, just him. But again, I definitely recommend going to Buc-ee's. The experience alone is worth it. You got to do it. You got to see. You got to try the burger. I mean all the beef jerky stuff. They're giving out samples of everything and stuff there. So it was fun. And it was the first day. So there. We did Buc-ee's and we're here at the Red Brick House. But I'm interested that Tyler Guyton, this may be the best thing that we have going on. The fact that Tyler Guyton is patty melts, the only thing I order from Whataburger. Alan Williams, I love me some good barbecue. You and me both. I love some good barbecue. Okay, now, I'm actually going to get in real trouble right now. I'm going to get, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get in real trouble right now. Okay? And I probably will get sued by Buc-ee's. Okay? But here's the thing. If you are going and traveling from Virginia, in Virginia on the interstates, if you're going on Interstate 66 at exit 13, okay, that's the Front Royal exit. You come off the mountain. It's beautiful. It's picturesque. It's picturesque, okay? It's the beginning of Skyline Drive. It's actually the exit you would take to start out at Skyline Drive to go south to the Blue Ridge Parkway. There is an Exxon station that's right there when you come off of the exit. And in that Exxon station, they have a grill cafe. And I want to say, their pulled pork sandwich is, and they have coleslaw too, if you want the coleslaw, and hot sauce. Lots of hot sauce. You can get packets or you can get the bottle and dump a whole lot on there. I'm going to say that the pulled pork sandwich there is better than what I got today at Buc-ee's. No disrespect to Buc-ee's. No disrespect. But they got a damn sure good one there. And if you get it on the sub, they put so much meat on there. It's like, damn, dude, okay, I'm going to take this home because it's like a fistful of meat on that sucker. And I could go ahead and take that off and make about 4 sandwiches out of it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So don't send me your hate mail. I had a great time. I spent some money there at Buc-ee's and recommend going there. But it's not the best barbecue I've ever had. Okay. So, we're moving past Buc-ee's. All righty. Do I think that we're still a good team in 25? Well, here's the thing. Good team is relative. To be a good team, you can be a good team and have a bad record. There are so many variables to what can happen. Michael Fife. Is that Fife my paranormal Fifes? You know, like, because, Michael, I want to talk to you about this place and the cemetery that's next door, too. What am I cooking for the first game? Ooh. I would say the cheesesteak sub, but I haven't had too much luck lately when I've made the cheesesteak sub. So we'll probably be doing pulled pork. We'll probably do pulled pork. Okay, pulled pork or something like that. We'll figure that out. I don't know. We still got some time. Being a good team, sometimes you can be a good team but have a bad record because sometimes you can lose a game because of a bad call, not anything that you've done, or the ball bounces the wrong way, or you can have a bunch of injuries. Last year, we had like the trifecta of everything going wrong. We weren't a good team because we let go a lot of talent, and we didn't do anything to replace any of it. And the talent that we did have here got injured. In which case, I'll be honest with you, I don't know how we won 7 games last year. I really don't know. We were one of the worst run-stopping defenses, and we were one of the worst teams running the football. But somehow, we ended up winning more games than the San Francisco 49ers? Explain that one to me. We have at least can say we lost our quarterback, right? San Francisco didn't lose their quarterback. So I thought the quarterback was the be-all, end-all at winning. Explain that one, 49er fan. How is it? Well, you had a lot of injuries too, but still. I think we're a better team than we were last year. Flat out. You have to look at it and say, CeeDee Lamb here in training camp, working out with Dak Prescott, with George Pickens, versus CeeDee Lamb holding out, not working out in the offseason with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott wearing a soft cast on his leg, and Brandon Cooks with an infection on his knee, versus George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb here all offseason working together. That alone is going to make you a better team. I don't know if our running game is much better than where we were last year. That has a lot to be proven. I think coaching-wise, the players are believing in the coach more than they did last year. I think everybody knew Mike McCarthy was a dead man walking. So there's a lot of variables. You know, this whole thing of, Brian Schottenheimer's going to be one and done. I don't know how you can hire a guy year one coming off of a losing season and say he can be one and done. I think that's more of today's sports media. It's all about getting people to click. However, whatever you have to do to get them to click, it's not about actually having a real take. Colin Cowherd and even Mike Furrio lately, it seems like they're trying to get some attention by making the worst takes possible. It's just insane. I really wish that there was some integrity in sports reporting, but there just isn't any. Dirty Sanchez, the whole NFL is in the Cowboys' shadow. The only one that comes close is probably New England with all the Super Bowls, but more people talk about the Cowboys the darker the shadow gets. And here's the problem. I think I realized this with Eagle fans and Philadelphia Eagles. You hate the Cowboys. We haven't done shit to deserve the attention that we do. Seriously. I'm sitting here riding in the truck yesterday, going to the Autograph Signing Show with Michael, who is 34 years old. And we're talking, and I'm thinking, he was 4 years old, and I was 29. 29 when the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. Lovely Linda. How are you doing tonight, Linda? When we were last relevant. But somehow, everybody still talks about us. I don't understand that. I honestly, I don't understand why people still talk. Why, after that 7-10 season last year, are we having all of these damn primetime games? We don't deserve them. We played like ass last year. Could play like ass this year. Look at Mark, you and the Cowboys. Cowboys are the most loved and most hated team in the world. Yeah, they are. But I still don't understand why. What have the Cowboys done to be hated lately? We ain't broke nobody's hearts except Cowboy fans. Gina Dallas Diva, what's up, sister? Good night, Randy. Peace out, Randy, a.k.a. Manster. Jay Smoove in the house. How are you doing? Heisenberg, dude compares our roster to the Eagles. We're not quite there as far as the roster with the Eagles. Let's be clear. If you go by paper, what the Eagles have versus what the Cowboys have, we shouldn't be in the same conversation. And that's true. I wish it weren't. But the Cowboys are closer than they were last year. Jay Smoove, my barber, hates my Cowboys. I was 12-year-old last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. But they will get there this year and winning the NFC East and making a run. I hope you're right on that one. Woke Yusuf, not for long, A-Rod. Good evening. How are you doing tonight, Woke Yusuf? But in Alfredo, that's the bottom line. Injuries can be the difference maker on a good or bad season. Good Jay, he is a good man. Don't wish injuries on any team. Yeah, I mean, but injuries are a fact of life, though. Dallas roster, if healthy, is just as good as Philly's roster. Well, the problem with Cowboys roster typically is you're 100% right. When the Cowboys have been healthy, when you have Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and Travis Frederick on your offensive line, yeah, you're great. When you had a young Zeke Elliott without a PCL or a hyperextended knee, yeah. The problem has always been once you get past that layer is what happens after that. And when we lose a Tyron Smith and you go to Chaz Green, you are screwed. Ruben, shout out to Ruben. Ruben in first place right now. Woohoo! I'm not wishing injuries on anyone, but injuries are part of the game. Mark just said hi to Momo so he can shut up. Oh, okay. Momo, how you doing tonight, Momo? I was talking about you a bit yesterday. I don't remember why. Oh, I know why. Because you said Debo, you saw a picture of Debo, he doesn't look quite as fat. T.O. kind of went balls deep on how fat he is. He said he's literally 2 chicken nuggets away from turning the scale up. Your response, Momo? Jeff Lee, boobies up. What's going on, Jeff? How are you doing? Dan, 1985. Our roster's not good enough, and I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. Mark saying that. I would like for us to do some more. Debo. Bobby Benitsky. I got the flu. Shout out to Bobby Benitsky. Resident Eagle fan. Got the flu, but still here. It was a butt on it. Okay. Need to get Momo and Philly 500 and Mark on all three on a stream. We've done that actually with Game Time Brian. Everybody's hoping that Bobby feels better. Bobby Benitsky, hope you do feel better. Momo says, okay. Momo, I have to say, T.O. looked like he in better shape than your boy. Do I think Jalen Ramsey would have been an upgrade? Okay, let's be clear. Jalen Ramsey is still a good player. That's not a question. The only question is what would you have to give up? You look at giving up Mika Fitzpatrick and a tight end to get Jalen Ramsey. Who would we have given up to get him? Deron Bland? Does that make us a better player? Better team? To me, it seemed kind of more of a lateral move. And he's $26 million. So, yeah, he would definitely be good. Now, the rumors out there is, of course, that there's 3 teams that are interested in Stephon Gilmore. The Dallas Cowboys, who he's familiar with. The Miami Dolphins, of course, because they just lost Jalen Ramsey. But I'm not sure if you're Stephon Gilmore and you look at the see. Here's the problem for Miami. The reason they got rid of Jalen Ramsey wasn't his play on the field, but it was actually him and Mike McDaniels not getting along. See, your job as the coach is to get the most out of your players, to get them to believe in what you're selling. And apparently, that's a problem. We know Tyreek Hill at the end of the season was like, I'm out of here, man. I'm done. I'm gone. Prego Devo. There you go, Holly. So you've got that dynamic there. So, of course, now, do you want to be Stephon Gilmore and go to the Miami Dolphins? Because as they're kind of blowing things up right now, I don't know that you look at them and say that they're a Super Bowl caliber team. So you got Cowboys, not that I'm saying the Cowboys are, but Cowboys, a team you're familiar with, a team that you can definitely work on your outside football narrative. And then there's New England, I think. Was it New England? I think New England wanted to come back. And you're sitting there thinking, New England, they got a long ways to go. Do I want to go back there and probably have no chance of playoffs? Tierra B. Oh, my goodness. Long time no see. How are you doing tonight, Tierra? We got all the lovely ladies in the place with the style and the grace. Oh, don't be sorry. Hey, fashionably late, Tierra. Shout out to you for showing up. So I think Stephon Gilmore, who was here during the draft, touching bases, I think that he's going to end up being signed by the Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys are going to go through and do any trades right now. I don't think they want to spend any draft capital. I think they have kind of patted themselves on the back with the George Pickens move, with some of the other moves that they made, that they feel pretty good about the team. And they're not going to want to mess up the draft for the future. That's not to say that once we start getting some of the veterans that are cut out there, that they don't start making some moves for some guys to add some more depth to us. Dan, so if stats are irrelevant, why do you care so much about Dak's playoff record? Oh, snap. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh. Ruben Walls, I think George Pickens is the key to the season. I think you're right about that one. If he can, we're going to need him to be able to stretch the field out. We have not been able to have guys that have had any separation for really the last 4 years. And if he can help spread the field, those MFers said they're not done. Well, we'll see, Gina. Scotty DeHottie, he does not have the worst playoff record in history. Sorry, does not. Does not. Alfredo Morales, because Dak has not done anything to get us to where we want to go. Dan, you can't put all of that on just the quarterback there, bro. Because Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones haven't done everything to put us where we want to go. Let's be clear here. If you think about those 12 and 5 seasons, what if the Cowboys went out and said, you know, we're going to get a Bobby Wagner, add a Bobby Wagner to the defense, run stopping, end up getting an extra defensive lineman, bringing in one more receiver. What if the Cowboys did 3 of those moves on any of those 12 and 5 teams? Do you think that we would be a better team? That we would have a better shot in the playoffs? Because that's the kind of stuff you need to do if you want to get there where we want to be. What's going on, Montana? How are you doing? North of the border, welcome, buddy. The selective memory is crazy. Andy Dalton is 0-4. There you go, Bobby. Shout out to an Eagle fan defending Dak Prescott. Andy Dalton is 0-4. I'll say Justin Herbert is 0-2. 0-2. If Dak stays healthy, he'll have a good shot at an MVP. The Joneses have a Lamborghini at quarterback, and they shop at Harbor Freight for parts. Damn. Sad but true. We need a big, burly defensive tackle to stop the run. I can't disagree with any of those statements. Booker will open up lanes. Oh, so we're moving the goalposts. Minimum 5 starts. Okay. I like how you did that, Scotty Dahati. I like how you did that. The Trey Lance truthers are now Joe Milton fans. You ain't lying about that one either. The Eagles won the Super Bowl, and yet the Cowboys are still more relevant. Go figure. There you go, Marcus. And herein lies the reason why Eagle fans are always in here clapping. They're trying to get respect from Cowboy fans. They don't understand how it is. We've sucked. They won the Super Bowl, and everybody's talking about us. How bad are the refs be this season? Who knows? Mean Metal Mike. Who the heck knows? If they just called the holding calls on Micah Parsons, that has to be worked a couple of games right there. Walker Wade's other persona versus Dak. Yeah, he can go from one end to the other. Cowboys suck. Okay, that's an Eagle fan. I know I'm ready to get the season on because there ain't nothing really going on. There's nothing. And I'm tired of talking about nothing. I mean, this is like a Steinfeld adventure. Nothing going on but nothingness. That and my big toe is still bleeding on the floor here. And if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go ahead because this thing is still bleeding. And I don't want to bleed out. I'm not hating on Dak. I just want a healthy year for everyone. And these players are not robots. Amen on that one. I'm going to end up killing this right now because I need to get this thing really cleaned up and bandaged up because I cut my toe real bad. And it's kind of paining me a little bit. It's kind of distracting. I'll catch up with you guys with my fireside chat after I get this thing done. And maybe we'll make up a stream tomorrow night. But in the meantime, I got to get out of here.